welcome back to Week 1 recap, 5th and 10. I'm 10.
And I'm Court. Fun week one, aside from our teams losing.
Football's back. We're both upset. Both our teams lost.
Hey, I need a little sign. So 1 weekend, no holes or cracks in walls yet, See how long we can, how many weeks without accident.
Andy Dalton is still the starting quarterback of the Bears.
So I haven't gotten my money yet, but I am going to get it.
Probably.
Not technically NFL related, but Brett Coleman winning that 2,500 parlay, huh?
Good for him.
Good for him. It's not left my mind. I had to bring it up at some point, so I'm doing it right now.
Just get out of the way early.
Just get it out of the way early, because I love that video of him in Vegas just screaming and yelling.
What a fucking good game that was last night.
What a good game it was in the fourth quarter.
And overtime. We'll get to that in a little bit.
We'll get to it, yeah. I guess we should start with the opener, Cowboys and Buccaneers.
Was a way better game than I was expecting it to be.
I told you that when Dak was back, it would be a good game, and Dak was back.
Yeah, but you see Buccaneers, Cowboys at Buccaneers, you see Buccaneers blowout. The fact that it was a close game almost the entire time and came down to the wire. And what? Tom Brady's throwing for 300 yards. Dak Prescott, didn't he throw for 400? Something just absolutely ludicrous. Yeah, 403 yards from Dak, 379 from Brady. It's like it was a shootout.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, Tom Brady for a little bit was the leader of picks in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. He's washed. At the end of Thursday night, he led the league in interceptions.
Yeah, even though
does he still lead the league? Or two?
I don't think so. I mean, did Aaron Rodgers throw two? What about did Kirk? No, not Kirk. I don't know. You want to look that up quickly?
I can. Talking. I mean, a much better game than I was thinking. Good game for first of the season. Dak looks really good.
He does.
You know who looked bad? Zeke and Leonard Fournette both did not look very good.
I would say Zeke looked worse than Leonard Fournette.
I mean, they both didn't look great.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I agree with that. If we're going to talk about outstanding players, Antonio Brown.
So angry.
There was a really funny thing. We kept calling him by the wrong thing because I think at first it was Jim Nance called him Anthony Bryan. And then I cannot remember her name. She said Antonio. No, yeah. First Jim Nance said Anthony Brown, and then the woman said Antonio Bryan, and so that's his new name, Anthony Bryan. But it's still AB, so it's all good.
Also, just because we love getting off topic, talking about things, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers are tied for second interceptions. You want to guess who's number one?
Ooh, give me a second. I'm gonna guess that is maybe Trevor Lawrence.
It is Trevor Lawrence.
Ayo. I had a feeling. I'm like, which team
on
lost
51 attempts?
Yeah, I remember I was looking at fantasy and all the receivers had 10 targets each. But yeah, finishing up with the season opener. It was a good game. One of the only few situations where I'm gonna root for the Cowboys. But they lost anyways. Damn it.
On the next week, they'll be fine. If Zeke can get it rolling, that's going to be a really solid offense. But just having Dak back is enough.
I mean, I'm not going to be rooting for them next week. They're the Cowboys. Again, this is the only one of the few scenarios where I will root for them. If they play like Tom Brady or the Patriots or anyone from the AFC South, yeah, I'll root for the Cowboys. But otherwise, no.
Hey, I mean, Amari Cooper's back and healthy. He played phenomenal. CD Lamb is living up to all that offseason hype. Michael Gallup is actually hurt for a few weeks, I think.
Trayvon Diggs got a pick.
Yeah, Trayvon Diggs did get a pick. Tom Brady wondering why Ben DiNucci was back in cover 2.
Wasn't it Leonard Fournette who dropped the passes? Got them greasy hands.
Yeah, he got hit right in the hands and it got bobbled up.
And I think that was the one that Trayvon picked off.
Maybe. I just know that both of the picks Tom Brady threw weren't really his fault because one of them was an end of the half Hail Mary, and the first one it hit Leonard Fournette in the face.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for a 44-year-old, he still looks really good.
It's absurd.
I hate it. We were having a thing of like who's gonna last longer in the NFL, Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, and after week 1, you were like, Tom Brady.
And I don't even like Brady.
Yeah, neither of us like Brady. I fucking hate Brady. That's the worst. That's the worst part. It's when you hate somebody, but they're just so fucking good.
Mm-hmm. I do not like Tom Brady. I respect Tom Brady, though. I feel like I have to.
I think the only thing I can think of left for that Thursday night game is just the way that Bruce Arians looked. He just kind of looked like he was lost the entire game.
Elderly man.
He's like, am I back in Arizona? What's going on? You want to move on to Sunday?
Yeah. Start with Jaguars Texans.
We didn't really watch this game.
We didn't watch this game because neither of us fucking cared.
And the
if
Jaguars,
I'm going to be honest.
No, not at all. I mean, it was AFC South versus AFC South, so whatever. And the Jaguars only got most of their scores in like garbage time. They were down like 33 to like 6 or something like that. Like they were only single digits when the Texans were at 30. So it was just it was garbage.
Well, because everybody was saying like, "Oh, I'm shocked that the Texans won." But I mean, like Tyrod Taylor's good.
He is good.
But I think if they were playing anybody else, they would have got blown out.
Yeah, the Jaguars are just worse, and Trevor Lawrence needs some fucking time. And
3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's on pace for a more than 30 for 30 season.
Maybe
Beat Jameis.
We'll get to Jameis later, but maybe so again, I didn't really watch the game. Was the Texans' rush defense just that good, or why were they not rushing more? Because you have
Don't
James
quote
Robinson.
me specifically on this, but I think the Jaguars had a couple of interior offensive line hurt.
If that was the case, then I understand a bit more. Not much to say there. What about Chargers versus the football team?
Fitzmagic is hurt. What's the point? What's the fucking point?
You want to have a moment of silence for Fitzmagic?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, moment of silence. Okay, I think that's good. We've paid our respects.
That's good enough.
Yeah, Taylor Heineke.
Hey, Taylor Heineke is his Washington football team now.
Yep, we're back
at least for the moment.
Hype.
Because Fitz isn't done for the whole year, but you've also got to remember he's like 38, I think.
Something like that. I think it said 6 to 8 weeks, so about half the season, like a third.
Yeah, but
half.
also he's like almost 40 and a hip injury, like a serious hip injury. Like I don't want to say it's the end of Fitzmagic, but I mean he is gonna have a rough time coming back from this, I think.
This place is fucking cursed. FedEx Field is... I know, yeah, they did play in FedEx. FedEx Field is fucking cursed, man. How many Washington quarterbacks have gotten injured in just the past, like, 4 years? Because remember, obviously, Alex Smith, Case Keenum, somebody else, I can't remember his name. Like, it's a revolving door of injuries in Washington. Don't be a quarterback in Washington if you want, like, to survive.
Unless you're Taylor Heineke.
Unless you're Taylor Heineke, apparently.
You're gonna win a Super Bowl. Hey, he played alright. He didn't play the whole game, but 11 for 15. Not bad.
You remember the player I called Derek Herman last week? Derwin James? He apparently popped off, like, coverage-wise. Like,
Derek Herman.
I don't know how I got Derek Herman from Derwin James. I'm an idiot. I'm a fucking
happens.
idiot. Chargers, they looked good.
Yeah.
Not
Justin
great,
Herbert
but good.
Looked alright. Austin Eckler was playing. I know he was like a game time decision. He played maybe 15 carries. Rushing wise, he played alright.
Did Keenan Allen do anything?
That's another game that we weren't able to watch in real time. So
yeah, no, we couldn't watch that one. But the next couple ones we did. Like the Seahawks and Colts.
we watched that one. That one was a pretty close game for the most part.
I don't know if you were watching as much as I was. It was close at certain parts, and if a couple key plays went differently, then the Colts would have been better in the game. But no, I think the Seahawks for the most part, especially in the first half, they just did so well that they just needed to hold off in the third half, the third quarter.
The third half? God, I hope that they don't play three halves.
No, don't give them ideas. No.
Tyler Lockett. What a fucking day for him, huh?
Russell Wilson in the first 5 weeks. Why couldn't we play them in like week 10?
Yeah, that was your mistake. You have to wait until like usually a little under half the season, and then all of a sudden they just kind of fall apart.
Exactly.
Because it's every single year. It's every single year. People are talking about like Russell Wilson MVP for the first like 5-6 weeks, and then something happens, and then people just stop talking about him, and you look and the Seahawks are just like dropping games here and there. I don't know. Tyler Lockett though, 4 receptions, 100 yards, 2 touchdown catches.
I mean, I would prefer.
Was it his first one or his second one where it was like a bomb?
That was the second one. That was the one that
the second
essentially sealed the game.
What a fucking like just good play on Tyler Lockett's part too, getting under that ball.
And I know people are going to be wondering, like, sealed the game? That was right before halftime. Yeah, this game was kind of sealed before halftime. Because they were up by, like, I think it was like...
It was 21-10 at the half,
21-10 at the half, okay. Even though it should have been, like, it should have been, like, a 3-point game if the Colts hadn't... I'm mad. I'm mad. And then Russell Wilson was digging the knife in on Monday night.
How'd you feel about Carson Wentz?
He looked good. Like, there were a lot of plays of him moving around in his feet. He had a couple where he dove for it instead of, like, sliding. I'm like, oh, God. No, he looked good. I think he just needs to get a little bit more used to it. Maybe heal a little bit more and get some better chemistry with the receivers. I mean, the weirdest part was, I think the people who kind of played the weakest in that game, offense-wise, was that great offensive line. They weren't doing the best pass rush. I think Carson Wentz had like 10 like contacts as QB with the D line, which is really nerve wracking. And I don't know. It's just if the offensive line plays a little better, I think it could still be a really good team. You're
right, by the way. 10 QB hits by that Seattle defense.
Yeah. Also, getting T.Y. Hilton back will be nice whenever that happens. But Zach Pascal stepped up. He really did.
Yeah, he had a couple of good catches.
Mm-hmm. All right. Jamal Adams did great. He just played. He was just always there. Like whenever he came down, he was just fucking right there in front of Carson, or he was right there for the deflection. He was insane that game. I don't think it'll show in like the stat sheet, but he did really well as like a presence. You want to talk about Jets Panthers?
Sam Darnold.
He looks good.
He won a football game. He looked all right. I'm telling everybody, this is his year.
Hey, I'm with you.
I won't shut up about it until he gets the proper respect. I know it's the Jets, whatever. They had their weird mixed reality thing that one of our other friends was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
No,
it's like, I thought it looked bad.
You're wrong, you fool. It did not look good.
I thought it was stupid.
No, idiot.
Like if the Browns did something like that, I would go, oh, I hate this actually.
Yeah, no, that Panther did not look cool. It looked dumb, okay?
Silly.
Get your eyes fucking checked. Get glasses. I can lend you mine, all right?
Christian McCaffrey, his whole family plays football.
His whole family plays football, and he did phenomenal.
He played a lot of football.
Yeah.
I think he was their leading rushing and leading receiver.
I think you're right, actually.
He was, actually. I'm looking right now.
Oh.
He had 89 yards receiving and 98 yards rushing.
CMC is back.
As long as he stays healthy.
As long as he stays healthy, fingers crossed,
Because, I'm sure you already saw, like, Pat McAfee talk about it. And I feel the same way, where it's like, he's really good at football, but he's, like, reckless about how good he is at football.
He is.
And he'll just take hits that he doesn't have to.
Please.
We get it, you're a running back, you're tough, but there's a reason that injuries have been an issue for him.
And it really matters because he is the defining feature of whether the Panthers are a good team or a bad team.
Mm-hmm.
It's him. Like I like Sam Darnold a lot, and I kind of like the Panthers. I don't dislike them. They're kind of an alright team in my book. But CMC, when he's playing well, they're a playoff contender.
Oh yeah.
I know I didn't show it last week necessarily, but especially they have a possibility of reaching the playoffs. That doesn't mean they will, but they have a possibility at it. Some games can go their way because CMC just is that much of a game changer.
You know who else looked good in that game?
Who?
Corey Davis.
Corey Davis did look good in that game.
This is also going to be Corey Davis's year. This is first year on the Jets. You got a rookie quarterback. He's like honestly the only, I would say, legitimately good receiver on that team. Like he's going to see a lot of targets this year.
You described him as
to make plays for him.
You use the best like term for it. You described him as a safety blanket.
He's a safety blanket for Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson just needs somebody that he's comfortable throwing the ball to.
Zach Wilson did not look awful.
No, he looked fine.
Yeah. It's a decent rookie performance. Like, well, first game, regular season.
Yeah, very first game, played all right. I mean, I think he threw one pick, but it happens.
Yeah, one pick.
Other than that, he had
Tom Brady threw
200 two. And Tom Brady did throw for 2. Yeah, I mean, he threw for like almost 260, I think. So
it's not bad, especially because you're on the Jets.
Not a bad game. It's really hard to gauge either of those teams because both of those teams are really hit or miss, and one of them is the New York Jets. So it's like, was it two mediocre teams playing each other, or is one of them legitimately good now? Because it was a very close game, too. So Panthers definitely keep an eye on. The Jets will probably be better than they were last year, but not by much.
But they got a lot. Not only did they have a lot of injuries before the season, they had a lot during the game. So Mekhi Becton went out in the third quarter. I think they lost like their safety as well. Like a safety was ruled out during the game as well. And not just that, their most important player, they lost their punter in the first.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of their punter, you know who they just signed today?
Who?
Like a few hours ago? Thomas Morstead. After 12 years in New Orleans, he's now punting for the Jets.
Didn't another team like sign a kicker like today? Because
somebody signed Zane Gonzalez, former Browns kicker. So good luck with that.
I mean, he did well in the Cardinals. Like, yeah, when I had him in fantasy like a year or two ago. He was good, like getting points at least. All right, what game is next?
Bengals Vikings. What a game where nobody deserved to win.
Yeah, you and I are rooting for tie. Especially because that game was so garbage in like the first half, and the second half it's like, oh, football is happening.
It was like 2.5 boring quarters. And then the fourth quarter got a little exciting, and then it was like, oh, they're going to tie. This is how this should be.
I remember in like the second quarter, we saw like an 11-yard gain, and we're like, is that the biggest gain of the game so far?
I think it was. You know who had a really good game? Jamar Chase did really well.
Jamar Chase, we're going to talk about that, okay.
After drops being an issue in the preseason, I mean, he had a 100-yard game.
100-yard gains, 100-yard game on what was that, like 5 receptions?
5 catches.
5 catches, yeah.
I mean, one of them was a 50-yard bomb from Joey B.
I remember watching that.
Joe Mixon also had a fucking huge game.
Joe Mixon did. Adam Thielen did as well.
I think Joe Mixon leads the league in like every rushing stat after the first week, like including yards after contact.
What about that Bengals offensive line, huh? Because I wonder how many times Joe Burrow got hit. We saw him go down a couple times.
I screamed every single time he got hit, I'm gonna be honest. I was so nervous for him. Every single time a defender was within like a yard of him, I would look at his legs and be like, please don't wrap those up. He got hit 7 times.
Oh. Just every time he goes down, you look at that leg like, no.
Yeah, I was making sure he doesn't hurt that again. I don't want the Bengals to rob us of Joey B in the NFL. But they walked away with a win. I'm upset about it. Because, I mean, it could be worse. It could be worse for the Browns, but we'll talk about the Browns in a bit.
Yeah, I said I liked him last week. He did not play well this week. Kirk Cousins.
You didn't think he played well?
Maybe. I watched that game more in like the first half. At least the first half he did not look good. I don't think he played well. Definitely, I think he maybe played all right. but I don't
I
think it was
mean,
a strong performance.
he was 36 for 49.
Oh, I didn't see
He
the
threw
numbers.
for
So.
350 yards.
Okay, well I didn't see the numbers, so maybe I'm just an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the numbers, it's not
I
bad.
know. Watching that first half performance, which is what I was mostly focused on, like, well, not focused on. Whenever I was watching it was more in the first half and like overtime. So maybe he just did
Mhm.
better in the second half, and that's where all the numbers came from. But no, he did not look good in the first half, just kind of like on the field. But no, I
Yeah,
guess
he
I'm
had
just
a-
an asshole.
He had a 106 passer rating. That's not great, not terrible, but also threw for 350 yards. That's a pretty solid game.
That is. Were there any picks?
Nope, didn't throw a single pick.
Good. Good for you. Wow, I cannot speak. Kirk Cousins is fucking with my throat because I shit talked him for a moment. Some type of force shit. I don't know.
You like that?
But I guess I do. Yes, Kirk. I guess I do. That no one deserved to win that fucking game, though. Maybe I was just pissed off at the game more than Kirk Cousins.
Let's move on to our 4 o'clock block.
We're not 4 o'clock block yet.
We're not 4 o'clock block yet.
No, we've got one or two. No, we've got a couple more games. We got a bunch more games 1 o'clock. We got 4 more games 1 o'clock. 5 more games 4 more games 1 o'clock.
I can't count.
Yeah, because we've got
Cardinals
4 more games.
Titans.
Cardinals Titans were 1 o'clock. Yeah.
Talk about our first major upset of the year. If I'm being honest.
You and I were really excited to watch the Cardinals do well.
We were shocked that the game went that way.
Kyler Murray, 5 touchdowns, one of them a rushing touchdown. Only one. He's not just like running. He was throwing bombs like Christian Kirk and DeAndre Hopkins. They did great. I don't know if it's the Titans are just not as good, or if the Cardinals are balling out, or if this isn't going to be representative of the season as a whole. This was just a fluke. I don't know, but this was one of the most interesting games of the week, definitely.
And that Cardinals defense played really well, I think.
They kept Derrick Henry under double-digit yards for like the first 3 quarters.
Yeah, and I mean, even like you know the play I'm talking about, that JJ Watt
When he
off
came
off the side untouched, bringing down Derrick Henry in the backfield on like the 1 yard line. Huge play.
JJ Watt like finessed his way around the Titans' right tackle and grabbed that ankle, and he couldn't, and Derrick Henry couldn't progress. That was great at age. He was like 32, right? 32, 33? Which is relatively old.
32.
Yeah,
32. For a
relatively
defensive
old
end,
for
that's
a
pretty
defensive
old.
end, yeah. Nah,
And he's still looking all right.
he looks good. Whoa, if we're gonna talk about any defensive player though, Chandler Jones, 5 sacks, I believe.
You are right.
5
Absolutely
fucking
disgusting.
sacks. Oh my god! Like,
Yeah, 5 sacks in a game for Chandler Jones is it's a lot of good football being played there.
I don't know. I've actually liked the Cardinals for a while, even if Larry Legend isn't playing there right now. But I want them to do well, and I hope this is indicative. Plus, I always just like seeing the Titans get their asses kicked.
Yeah, no, Derrick Henry was held to like single-digit yards until towards the end of the game. Or we kept looking. He finished with 58 yards on 17 attempts. So,
like, I remember in the third quarter, he had like 8 yards. He was given the ball, and we're like, "Here we go." And then he gets a 1 yard. We're like, no.
yeah, well, because Joel has him in our league, and he was like, "Oh, he's got me 0 points right now." He grabbed the ball once, and Joel goes, "Oh, is that 1 point?" We checked, and he had 9 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, Joel.
He'll do better next week. He's playing, but I mean, he'll do better next week. Just not maybe great because it's the Seahawks, you know.
We'll see.
Well,
It's hard to tell if, like you said before, if this is indicative of how the Titans season is going to go, or if the Cardinals defense is really just that good now.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the Cardinals, again, I feel like a lot of the teams in that division, for the first couple of weeks, it's like, oh, like these are Super Bowl contenders. And then you hit like that certain point of the season where you're just looking back and it's like, okay, well, they're all going to drop in games here and there. And then that division is always so consistent with each other that like you can win a ton of games and still miss the playoffs just because you're third in your division.
Mm-hmm. I hope the Cardinals stay hot. I like them. I hope the Seahawks stay hot. I like him. I didn't like him yesterday, but I really like Russell Wilson. And do you think we're done with that game?
Yep.
Before we move on, fun fact about the AFC South. Now that we've talked about all four of them, the Texans are they're leading it. Not even by tie. They're just leading it because they beat the Jaguars. Colts lost 0-1. Titans lost 0-1. The only 1-0 team are the Texans. So fuck my life. I hate this. I hate this reality so much. Fine, we can move on to the next game. I'm mad. I'm mad now.
49ers Lions. The 49ers almost blew that game.
So can I drop my theory that almost came true?
Go for it.
So Jared Goff was about to bring back a fucking like a fourth quarter comeback, tie it up, maybe bring it to overtime and win. And my hypothesis, I mean, it wasn't proven true yet, but it might still be true, is that Matthew Stafford was never that great. It was just the mantle of Lions QB, and Jared Goff has taken on that mantle, taken on those powers. So maybe now he will become the clutch quarterback.
I remember I saw it was 31-10 at the half, and I stopped caring. And then somebody tweeted, like, Lions, oh my goodness, and I saw that, and I was like, what's going on? And then we looked back over it, and it was a one-score game. It's like, oh. Okay, I guess.
Trey Lance had a touchdown. I think he only had
Lance.
He only had one pass, but it was a touchdown.
Threw the ball once. I don't know what they're doing. Trey Lance. They did have him come in. He threw one ball 5 yards. It was a touchdown. But then he didn't. I don't think he took any other snaps the rest of the game.
I don't think they're going to use Trey Lance this year. I think they're having him learn behind Garoppolo for next year or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's just
Raheem Mostert is done for the year. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, I remember. I forgot.
Knee injury.
Who else is there? I don't. Yeah, I don't remember what other injuries there were.
Jared Goff threw the ball almost 60 times that game.
Oh yeah, he had like 57.
Ridiculous. 57 passes.
I saw that.
38 completions.
That just leads more credence to the mantle of the Lions QB, because Stafford would do the same. He would put up great fantasy numbers.
Yeah, 338 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. I mean, it's not pretty, but it's good enough. I mean, not good enough this week. It's almost good enough. They put up 33 on the 49ers. That's terrible.
Not bad at all. I guess you want to move on?
Yeah, not much to say about there. Okay, so Steelers-Bills.
This game pissed me off.
This game also pissed me off. God, I hate the Steelers.
The Bills,
can't stand them.
The Bills were gone in the second half. They just did not show up. They were up 10. What was it, like 10-0 or something like that?
They were up 10. Well, yeah, they were up 10-0 at the half. And then Pittsburgh put up 23 points in the second half, and I think scored 2 field goals. I didn't even think they scored a touchdown. Yeah, they scored 2 fourth quarter field goals. That was it.
That game made me mad because the Bills just did not look good.
Oh, and you know what? One of the that was the game where it was a blocked punt for a touchdown, scoop and score.
That was the thing that really changed the momentum of the game, because I think it was 17-13. I think when that happened, I think the Bills were only losing by 3 or something of that sort, and then going up by 10 with half of the fourth quarter left. The Bills ended up getting down enough to kick a field goal, but they never got the ball back. So, oh well. There's always next week, I guess. Fuck the Steelers. Bills, I want you to do well. Nothing else to say there. Just play good football. Don't shit the bed.
Eagles-Falcons.
That one pass by Jalen Hurts.
Do you want to elaborate on that instead of that one pass?
No,
I know what you're talking about.
I wanted to hear if you gave a reaction before I elaborated. All right.
No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
All right, good. Well, I was expecting maybe
I was like, that one pass. He's like, yeah, talk about it.
Okay, I'll talk about it. All right.
Talk about it.
So he was rolling out to his right. It was in the red zone, and I don't remember who he passed to, but he was I thought he might have gotten sacked. He might have thrown it away. No, he just tosses it down almost onto the ground. Gets this perfect toss right into the end zone. It was a fucking bullet. It just zoomed past the yards needed. Caught it. The wide receiver caught it as he rolled. I don't remember who caught it. No, it was Dallas Goedert, tight end Dallas Goedert. I remember now. And he just it was a thing of beauty. That's it. It was I like that play a lot.
Yeah. Eagles ended up blowing out the Falcons, 32-6.
Are the Eagles good or the Falcons bad?
Hard to tell week 1.
Exactly, yeah. Or is it a week 1 situation?
I mean, I think the Falcons are just not very good. But they've got another 16 games to prove that they're decent at least.
Have you seen the couple commercials that are like Matty Ice commercials where they're calling him Matty Ice? I'm like, we haven't called him Matty Ice in like 4 years. Like, not since that Super Bowl, you know?
Yeah.
So it was just weird to see that. I can't remember if the Eagles or Falcons were up. That might have been the first 4 o'clock game or the last 1 o'clock game. I can't remember.
That was the last 1 o'clock game, because the first 4 o'clock game is Browns Chiefs.
I'll leave this to you.
I'm a little bummed. Ended up losing by 4 points. We had the lead almost the entire game until that fourth quarter. And then once the crowd really started getting into it, and Arrowhead gets loud. Everybody knows that. There was just like 2 or 3 straight drives where it was just way too much for everybody. And I know it's like you got to be able to play in that kind of condition. But after last year, like, it was just so weird not having fans for most of it. Like, even a little bit of crowd noise was disruptive. But I mean, we still went into KC and like went all 4 rounds with them. It wasn't over until the very last drive. Baker tried to throw the ball out of bounds. It gets picked off. It happens. It's upsetting, but I thought they played well enough. I'm excited to watch the Browns pretty much all year.
I would have to say, at least, so as we've stated multiple times, week 1, everyone's still kind of getting their bearings. This isn't indicative of the season. But at least just from the offseason in week 1, I think these looked like the 2 best teams in the NFL. Straight up. I think these are I think if I had to give you a power rankings, I'd give you Chiefs 1, Browns 2. So far going into week 2. It
feels so weird to hear people say that.
Yeah, it feels weird to say it. But do you kind of, you don't have to agree or disagree, but do you kind of get what I mean?
No, I get what you mean.
Because I think the Browns...
Well, we were talking about it before, like Browns top 5 team in the NFL, but after this past week, it's like Titans, I'd definitely bump down. I don't know if I would say Browns may be top 3. I don't know if I would say that they're better than the Buccaneers.
That's a good one.
Again, it's still kind of figuring everything out for right now.
That's a good point, because the Buccaneers didn't really do anything wrong. They kind of just got unlucky with some picks. So maybe Bucks 2, Browns 3, but it was just especially in that first half, the Browns look so incredible that it's really tough between those. I think those are the top 3 teams right now: the Chiefs, the Browns, and the Bucks, and they're really close with each other. And if you put them in a match together, I'd be like, oh, I can't. That's gonna be a tough one to call. And the Bills and Titans are great as well, but they just didn't look that good in week 1. So maybe they'll be better than the other teams. I'm just saying based on week 1.
I'll talk about a team that looks legitimately bad after 1 week.
Packers.
The Packers. Oh my god.
Aaron Rodgers. What was it, like a 30 QBR? Not QBR, passer rating?
It was 38?
30?
It was 36. It was 36.8. It's the lowest QBR of a reigning NFL MVP quarterback.
I pointed it out like in the first quarter. I'm like, he looks tired. He just looks done with it.
Somebody said that they think Aaron Rodgers came back for this year just to sabotage the Packers season. And if anybody's going to have that much spite, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers.
Because the Lions need to be scared next week, because I think it's going to be a bounce back routine. Like kind of like, you know, stretching back like a slingshot, you know? Like if you stretch it back a tiny bit, it doesn't do much. The Aaron Rodgers pissed off much. He did so bad that slingshot is pulled as far back as it can and pissed off Aaron Rodgers being aimed right at the fucking Lions.
The Saints this week handed Aaron Rodgers his worst beating as a starting quarterback in his whole career.
Mm-hmm.
Jameis Winston looks legitimately good. He's also, just because I think it's a funny statistic, he's the first quarterback in the Super Bowl era to throw for 5 touchdowns but less than 150 yards. And when we were saying that before, it's like, I'm not knocking Jameis Winston for doing that. I'm just saying, like, that is a very efficient offense.
Well, that was also because of the defense, because of the great field.
Yeah, the defense,
the great field position they started with. That's why the yardage is so low, and AK also doing really well.
Mm-hmm. It's a very efficient offense. I am shocked that they're actually gonna be contenders this year. There was a lot of question marks about, like, you know, Michael Thomas not playing for the first, like, almost half of the season. Drew Brees is gone. Jameis Winston looks ready.
There was that one, like, 50-yard bomb that was, like, perfectly placed, and it's like, all of us watching the game were like, eye surgery! The eye surgery!
He can see.
But Saints were one of the biggest teams I had question marks around going. We talked about that last week. You and I are both like, we're not sure. They looked like a top 10 team this week. So it'll be interesting to see if that carries on.
You know who I'm excited to watch? And also, if anybody here plays fantasy, keep an eye on Juwan Johnson, the tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Real big dude, and you could see it, like Jameis, Jesus Christ, I used to work with a guy named Jameson. Jameis Winston was putting balls up, like, way high in the air, like jump balls that only a guy that's 6'4" or 6'5" or however fucking tall Juwan Johnson is could catch. Like, you should absolutely be paying attention to Juwan Johnson right now in fantasy.
Is he a free agent in our league?
Not for long.
Not for long.
I'm gonna take him.
That's true. You better make
you think I would give you advice? Fuck you.
You're first in our waiver wire, right?
Yeah, because I got my ass whooped this week.
You did. By an Australian.
It's fine. She got lucky. I know what I'm doing.
I lost by 1 fucking point.
It's so fine. Bad. She got lucky. I know what I'm doing. I'll take Juwan Johnson.
Lost by 1 point. Ugh.
Good fantasy pickup if you need a tight end.
Yeah. You don't want to do the thing again where you give good fantasy pointers to people in our league.
We were on a trip. Avery was there, and I had a bunch of moonshine, and he asked me a couple questions about fucking fantasy, and I let slip Corey Davis being my sleeper pick. So he took Corey Davis from me.
We're talking more about that. I got so fucking mad when Jack took the hot rod. Got so fucking pissed. Had to go change shirts to put on the jersey.
You had to flex.
I had to.
Oh, speaking of shirts, guess what I'm wearing right now?
Chubb Hub, right?
My Chubb Hub hoodie. Came in.
It looks good.
Yeah, it came in fast. I saw it on the fucking game, and I went to Twitter, and everybody's like, oh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? And I found it immediately, and there was like 10 left, so I bought one.
There's another shirt that I was considering getting. It was like a Respect the Specs shirt, you know?
Yeah. I think he sells those himself. He also has one that's it's like an eye test.
There was the eye test one,
where it's like the big thing. It says like walk on mentality.
Mm-hmm. There was the eye test one, which I kind of liked, but let me send this to you. This is the one that I was looking at that I really liked, and I'm thinking of getting it. Give me 1 second.
Anything else you want to talk about for Packers Saints?
Not that I can think of. What do you think of that shirt?
I like that.
Yeah, I like the color. I like the blue. I'm gonna have 2 hot rod shirts, the shirt and the jersey. But no, I don't think I have much else to bring up aside from I don't know if the Saints are that great. I think they're good. I think the Saints are definitively a good team this year. But I guess I have more questions around the Packers, whether I'm presuming that was just a slip up, just a bad game first week, you know? And they'll still be a playoff contender going forward. That's my assumption.
We'll see. Broncos Giants. The Giants look bad.
The Giants
again
do look bad. One of those touchdowns does not. That is a 27-6 game in my opinion, because or whatever it was, 27-7, because they scored a touchdown when the timer ran out. So that is by far the Broncos look all right, and the Giants look.
What, you don't want to give Daniel Jones credit for a 4-yard touchdown run?
I mean, that touchdown run looked nice. I was watching it and I went, he's running. Hey, he did it. I was giving him props. I was giving him props live.
Yeah, Giants looked bad. Teddy Bridgewater looked pretty good.
But if there was any definition,
He's winning games.
If there was any definition of a garbage time touchdown, it was that one.
Melvin Gordon had a pretty good game. 11 carries, 101 yards. So Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, I was wondering if we're gonna bring that up.
Yeah. What was it? His ankle? Did they say how long he's out for?
He's got a high ankle sprain.
Ooh. Yeah, it's not great.
Or at least I know they said high ankle sprain. It might have come back negative. I can't remember. It looked bad. Jerry Jeudy injury. It's a Denver Broncos website.
He's on their IR. He's gonna miss 4 to 6 weeks after a high ankle sprain.
So they have called it a high ankle sprain. Okay.
Yeah, they call it a high ankle sprain. He's out for at least 4 to 6 weeks. On their IR right now, but we'll see how that affects him. Because even when did he leave the game? It was like
third quarter.
More than third quarter.
Yeah, I remember it. Third quarter.
He was still their leading receiver. I mean, 6 catches, 73 yards.
Look, he's just that good. So I really hope he gets better. We only have a few more games left to talk about.
Dolphins Patriots.
I had fun watching this game.
Dolphins went into Foxborough, won 17-16. It's been, this is the second year, but it still feels so weird watching the Patriots. Like, I don't know, the Patriots, it used to be if you play the Patriots in Foxborough, you have almost no chance. And it was a close game. I'm not saying they got like routed or blown out, but
there was
it's still weird to me to see a just okay or like a decent Patriots team, not like the best team in the NFL Patriots team.
Mm-hmm. Did you watch the last 2 drives of that game closely? Because I was.
Not closely, because I think that's roughly when the Browns game was about to start.
Yeah.
I was getting ready for that.
No, they were happening at the same time.
Oh yeah, well, and then I was pretty much only watching the Browns game.
Yeah, exactly. I was watching.
It's like I would look back over and have all the other games on my second monitor, but
I was focusing on the Dolphins-Patriots game at the very end, especially because the way those last 2 drives went is that the Patriots had just scored, I believe, to make it. They were down only by 1 point, and Tua was on a third down and long. He was not in a good situation. He was rolling out to his right, and then he threw this ball up that was just a bad third down ball, and it got picked off. Which then it looked like the Patriots were gonna go down for a field goal, and kick the field goal in the game. But then I think the fumble happened, and that gave the Dolphins the ball. So I don't think the Dolphins look great. I don't think the Patriots look great. I think they're both good teams this year. I do. But the Dolphins got extreme. You could argue that the Patriots got lucky with Tua's pick, but the Dolphins got extremely lucky with that game-ending fumble. Myles Gaskin looked good. Just
Damian Harris had a good game. 100 yards, another 100-yard rushing game. A lot of like big games for people this first week. Like weird. I usually feel like we don't see this many like 100-yard rushing games or quarterbacks throwing for 350 yards like in 1 week.
I know, I've been interested, but some of these games have been really interesting for the NFL narrative as a whole, like the Cowboys-Bucks game, the Cardinals-Titans game, the Saints-Packers games. Those games kind of changed narratives going into the season about specific teams, like how good the Cowboys are, how good the Cardinals and Titans are, and how good the Saints and Packers are. Those games, really, you could even argue kind of the Browns and Chiefs, because there's always going to be that little bit of doubt with the Browns, maybe. But
people still sleep on Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, but that didn't change. That wasn't changing like the other couple games were. That was a securing one. All right, you want to move on to the final 2 games, the Sunday night and Monday night?
Bears-Rams, what a fucking boring game.
You left.
I actually left. I was like, this is boring, and went and did something else.
The only reason I cared...
And I usually don't do that.
You want to play Blood Hunt.
I'm a fucking addict.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think we're gonna do after this recording?
We're playing Blood
We're playing
Hunt.
Blood
I
Hunt.
told Leon he better still be playing,
Yeah.
which I don't think he is.
Is he?
Can't believe he's
Wow, I can't believe
unreliable.
Well, maybe we can find a third person. Otherwise, we're gonna get multiple games in a row where we don't get a third rando.
It's fine. I'm already looking at a third person.
Nice.
I'm just gonna jump in there and tell them that they're playing Blood Hunt. Yeah. I mean, Matt Stafford looked pretty solid. I'm gonna be honest. He looks like he's gonna be a good fit in LA.
I think he is as well. Andy Dalton's still starting. You already brought that up, but
Still starting. For right now.
the only reason I cared about that game is because my fantasy game, I lost by 1. It came down to, I had nobody left, and John had he had the Rams DST and Allen Robinson, and so if the Rams had given if the Bears had scored one more touchdown, I would have won, or if Allen Robinson had just not caught one of those passes, I would have won. So that's why I was interested, is because it's the Rams DST and they can lose points over time. There was a decent chance of me actually winning that game. But no, like halfway through the third quarter, I think that game was over. That is such a boring.
Well, let's talk
second
about
game.
an exciting game.
An exciting game because of stupid reasons, but an exciting game nonetheless.
The fourth quarter and overtime of this game were super exciting. Everything else, it was kind of like, it was going the way that we weren't. I was expecting more of a rout. Like, I was expecting the Ravens to just walk into Las Vegas and just beat up on them.
I think prior to the fourth quarter, the two things it taught in the game alone, the two things that really surprised me were how much at first Darren Waller was dropping the ball, and second was that one tackle that Lamar, like, did they count it as a fumble? I can't remember.
Though, yeah, he had a fumble.
He had a fumble and he landed on his neck, and it was not a good landing.
Mm-hmm.
But those first 3 quarters, the real big highlight were Peyton and Eli.
Yeah, that was our favorite part about watching it. Was just like looking at Eli Manning, and I've had a picture of Peyton Manning on my second monitor. I'm just realizing for a while when I think it was Lamar fumble. I don't know, something happened because Peyton kept making faces when any
They were
any
great
bad
faces.
quarterback play happened. Peyton looked like he was gonna die.
There was the one face. I think if you scroll up a bit, and I'm like, there was the one face. Yeah. That one face was because it happened when the Raiders like threw the pick in the end zone.
Was that the end zone pick in the overtime?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, okay, so I specifically want to talk about the overtime of that game. It was stupid. It was crazy.
It was so dumb. I loved it. It's where we got the parlay of dreams, though.
This is where we got the parlay of dreams. No, it was just like, fuck. Who was it that almost scored? Was it Ruggs?
Yes, it was.
I don't know. Came down like, I'm pretty sure it was. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Came down half a yard short.
No,
of
it
the
wasn't
end zone.
Ruggs. It was someone with an.
It wasn't Ruggs.
It was like a. An 80
I mean, I have
89?
hold on. I have the.
Why am I thinking like Everett? It's not Everett. His number 89. I'm pretty sure.
Hold on. Yeah, Everett.
It was Everett. Yeah. All right.
Everett. I don't know how to say it. I'm looking at the play-by-play right now.
All I'm saying is I got my guess right on which player it was. No, he was a half a yard.
Wait, no, sorry. It was Why does it keep refreshing? I'm trying to read the play-by-play. It was Edwards.
Edwards. It was an E, not Everett.
Edwards. They called it a 33-yard touchdown. Replay officials looked it over. He didn't break the plane. It was like literal inches short, so it's like first and goal at the half inch. There's a run up the middle. They don't get a gain. First round pick Leatherwood, false start, gets bumped back. And then it was an incomplete pass. And then that's when, on like third and goal at the 5-yard line, Derek Carr threw that absolute heater right at Willie Snead, hit him in the face. It got picked off by Everett.
I thought it was like Elliott or something like that.
No, he tried to hit Willie Snead. It hit him like right in the mouth. Or it was intended for Willie Snead.
It was intended for Willie Snead, but it bounced off the Ravens' helmet. Remember? It bounced off Elliott's helmet.
It was just a fucking mess.
Yeah, he didn't even get to Willie Snead. He fucking hit the Raider.
He hit somebody in the mouth of the ball.
Whatever that Ravens name, like Elliott, he hit him right in like the fucking forehead. And then it bounced
Yeah.
up in the pick, and that's where you got the
And
Peyton
then
Manning
everybody
face.
goes, okay, well, the Ravens are just going to run down the field. Maybe they'll kick a field goal to be over. Carl Nassib, huge strip sack. Fumbles, picks the ball up. And then we're thinking, okay, well, at least they're in field goal range. They go to try to kick a field goal. They get a delay of game call. So then they want to run another play. So they're a little bit closer. And everybody's freaking out because nobody knows what's going on. The Ravens still had a timeout at this point. They really should have called one because they didn't have any safeties over top. So it was just an easy 31-yard pass, walk-off touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
What a stupid game.
What a stupid
What a
fucking
dumb
game.
overtime, but it was so fun to watch.
So
That so far is my game of the year.
it is the game of the year. We've mentioned we've mentioned Peyton. We mentioned the parlay of dreams, which was settled there. But I want to talk a little bit more about Peyton and Eli. There were 4 guests throughout Peyton and Eli, and Charles Barkley was good because that's his job. Ray Lewis is actually fun to hear from a defensive perspective. He wasn't great, but it was nice to hear. Travis Kelce didn't really add anything, unfortunately. Peyton kept trying to toss him, give him toss up answers, and Travis was like, what? I love Travis Kelce so much, but he was not necessarily the best commentating there. But what I wanted to talk about was Russell Wilson, man. Give him a job commentating or broadcast, whatever, after he retires, because he was great.
Yeah. Anything else we want to talk about there?
Uh,
Are we good to move on to week 2 predictions?
Week 2 predictions. I guess we're good to move on. I just like talking about Peyton and Eli and him getting a text from his dad.
That was funny.
A text,
Tell Peyton to stop scratching his head, parentheses, from mom.
or how Eli Manning had the amazing ability to look like a still image.
He kept doing it.
It's because his fucking screen.
His TV was too high
Yeah.
or something.
Peyton trying to wear the helmet.
Just a small helmet.
You missed.
Such a big forehead.
You missed that live.
I did miss it live. I slept through the first quarter of that game.
I guess last one to note, I did kind of talk about Darren Waller dropping passes. He did great in the end. I'm just talking about the beginning. There were a couple drop passes. He looked real good in that game. I guess I want to throw that in there. No shade on Darren Waller. He looked great. All right, now we can move on to week 2.
Week 2 predictions. Texans Browns.
That's not the first game.
Is it not the first game?
No.
Oh, I'm looking at a weird format for it.
Do you want me
Cut
to read
that
them off?
out. Yeah, read it off and then cut that out.
I'm not cutting that out. You fucked up. I'm keeping that in. Giants Washington. That's the Thursday night.
That's a football team game.
Yeah, I'm rooting Washington as well. Taylor Heineke's gonna fucking New York's gonna go into Heineke's house and can we call it that from now on? Heineke's house?
Heineke's house?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the time being.
Fuck FedEx Field at Heineke's house. They're gonna win. Patriots Jets.
Patriots.
Same here, yeah, Patriots. Broncos Jaguars.
Broncos.
I also said Broncos. Bills Dolphins.
Bills.
Yep, same Bills. Niners Eagles.
Niners.
That was actually a tough one as well. I did go Niners in the end, but a part of me wanted to go Eagles, but I'll stay with the consistent Niners for now. Rams Colts.
I'm saying Rams.
I'm saying Rams as well. I think the Colts still have some dents to buffer out.
Mm-hmm.
Steelers Raiders.
Steelers.
I also went Steelers. Hopefully we'll find a difference soon. Bengals Bears.
Bengals.
I also went Bengals. Damn it.
Bro.
Texans.
Know what we're talking about.
Texans Browns.
Browns.
Same. Saints Panthers.
Saints.
Same. Cardinals Vikings.
Cardinals.
Same. Falcons Bucks.
Buccaneers.
Same. God damn it. Titans Seahawks.
Titans.
I said Seahawks.
Hey, there's a difference.
There's a difference. The Cowboys Chargers.
Chargers.
Oh, another difference. I'm saying Cowboys.
And Chargers.
I'm rooting
Feeling
for Chargers.
confident about them, even though the Cowboys look really good. I'm feeling confident about the Chargers at home.
Yeah, that's fair. Chiefs Ravens.
Chiefs.
Yeah, same. And then Packers Lions.
Packers. They looked rough, but again, they have to play pissed off Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau.
You have no idea how much part of me wants to go Lions just to be different, but I'm.
Yeah, I mean, you could. There's a chance.
I
That
could.
game's a toss up if the Packers look like they did last week.
Yeah. I guess I'll go Packers still, just because I did that whole fucking thing about the slingshot analogy. You know, I'm sticking Packers. But we had two differences. We had one difference last week. It was Vikings Bengals. I said Vikings. You said Bengals. I believe that was it. So you're up by whatever.
I'm ahead by 1.
You're ahead by 1, and we have two differences here. So I could take the lead again. Yes.
You could.
Maybe. All right. I guess there's not much else to talk about this week.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess fun fact. I mentioned the AFC South standings before. The AFC West and the NFC West combined for 8-0. So the West is undefeated right now. I find that to be an interesting fact. How long can the West go undefeated? Who else? Who is the West?
1 week.
Let me see all the West teams. Broncos will win. They'll beat the Jaguars. Niners could win and beat the Eagles. Rams could win and beat the Colts. Raiders could beat the Steelers. That's a possibility. That's not a shut game. Bengals, Bears. Who else is the West team? Cardinals could beat the Vikings. Seahawks could beat the Titans.
They could.
Chargers could beat the Cowboys. And then the Chiefs are playing the Ravens, and the Chiefs could beat the Ravens. I think they could go. I think we get a West 2-0 here. If I didn't miss a team, I think West could go 2-0. You know what? That's what I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for a 2-0 West. That is all I care about going into week 2.
2-0 West.
2-0 West.
It's not gonna happen.
That'd be really dumb if I said you want to put a bet on it.
We don't need to bet on everything we disagree on.
No, but that's the fun part of life. I'm kidding. I'm messing. I don't have a gambling addiction. All right, yeah, you want to end it there?
Yeah, we'll end it there.
All right. I guess see y'all next week, week 3, after the West goes 2-0.